Well, greetings to everyone that's listening at home or in your car or wherever you might be listening. I want you to know that I'm thankful to have you here with us today. I hope you're going to enjoy today's podcast and going to tune into future episodes. I'm really just getting started in the podcast ministry. I really don't know much about what I'm doing. I've posted a few practice episodes. I think they're getting better. This is the way I want to do my podcast. The way I want the show to come out, the episodes to be, is the way that I'm going to do it today. Um, so I hope you enjoy, and I hope you tune in future episodes as well. Today we're going to be discussing holiness, living a God-focused life. We're going to be diving into the book of Romans. Specifically today, we're going to be looking at Romans chapter 1 as we explore the topic of holiness. There's those out there that might wonder what holiness truly means and how we can practically live it out in our daily lives. So we're going to embark on this journey together, seeking a deeper understanding of God's call to holiness. The first thing that Paul points out in the book of Romans and in chapter 1 is his understanding of the human condition, of the brokenness of man, of the fallen state of humanity. In Romans chapter 1, Paul starts by addressing the natural state of humanity, that everybody has sinned, that everybody has messed up and made mistakes and come short of the glory of God. He describes how human beings have a tendency to suppress the truth about God's existence and his righteousness. You see, I believe that the majority of the people, regardless of what they claim, that the majority of the people, even those that say they do not believe in God, do not believe in the Bible, even those that claim everyone is free to do as they choose, I believe that the majority of the people deep down inside, they know that there is a God. They know that he is real. They know that he is the creator of all things, that there is an unmade maker, an uncreated creator, that there is a God that is the author of history, past, present, and future, that always has been and always will be, and that he is the one, God is the one that determines right from wrong, that there is a moral standard of living expected of human beings, and that God is the one that determines that standard. He is the one that defines what is sin, what not is sin. He is the one that defines right from wrong. And if that be the case, which it is, and the majority of the people know that it is, then that means that the God that sets the standard, that determines what that standard is also the God that in the end times, in the last day, will be the God that gives rewards and punishments accordingly. That there is a heaven to gain and a hell to shun, as the church has been preaching and teaching for years. The majority of the people know this truth, but they suppress it. They hide it. They deny it. They pretend like they don't know it. They pretend like they don't understand it, or they just simply don't care. But they suppress this truth because if God is real, and if he is the moral standard, and if he is the one that in the end will hand out rewards and punishments, then that means that we are called as human beings to live a certain way. And the majority of the people don't want to. The majority of the people want to continue to live in the pleasures of sin that last only for a season. The majority of the people want to continue to do it their way. What's right in their eyes, what seems fun to them. They want to set the standard. So they suppress the truth that deep down inside they know to be true. And in doing so, this suppression, it leads to idolatry, as individuals turn to worship created things rather than the Creator himself. You say, well, okay, preacher, we get that in Paul's time, at the writing of the book of Romans, the letter of Romans, biblical time, ancient time, yes, there was a problem with idolatry. There was a problem with idol worship, but that's not so much the case today. I mean, we don't see people erecting these giant statues to bow down and worship. I want you to know that we might not necessarily be committing idolatry in the same exact way that we did in the days of old, in ancient times. But I believe idolatry can be defined as anything or anyone that takes your priority away from God, away from worshiping God, away from living a God-centered and a God-focused life. Actors, athletes, celebrities, politicians, politics, sporting events, anything and anyone that takes your devotion, that takes your time, that takes your worship, that takes control of your life over God. That is, in my opinion, considered an idol, and that is, in my opinion, considered idol worship. And people are still doing that to this very day, have since the beginning, and are continuing to this day to commit the act of idolatry, turning away from God, suppressing the truth, and living a lie. The human condition described here, it reflects our inherent brokenness and need for redemption. We are sinners in need of a Savior. We was born in sin did our mothers conceive us. We have lived in sin. We have all sinned and come short of the glory of God. We all, like sheep, have gone astray, and we all need Jesus, the Redeemer, the Savior, the one that died on Calvary's cross to pay that price so that we could be saved, so that we could be redeemed and reconciled back to a right relationship, and so that we could live according to the moral standards of a holy God. I want you to know and understand that there is consequences of the fallen nature. Paul highlights the consequences of suppressing the truth about God in Romans chapter 1, as he says that he, meaning God, gave them over, handed them over, turned them over to the desires of their hearts. What's the desires of the heart? Well, it's from the time of our youth. The Bible tells us it's to do evil continually. That's the desire of human heart. You tell us not to do something, and for whatever reason, that becomes what we want to do. I mean, from the time we're a child, you tell a child, don't go get that cookie. What are they going to do? They're going to go get that cookie. Share. And what are they going to do? They're not going to share. So we're